The book Catch-22 by Joseph Heller takes place near the end of World War II, where John Yasaran, an Air Force captain and bombarder, is stationed in Pianosa, which is a small island off the coast of Italy. When the protagonist became a United States bombarder, he was under the impression he only had to fly a certain number of missions until he could return home to the United States. His superior officers told him he had to continue flying missions when he came close to the number he had to reach till he could return home. Because of these extra missions, Yasaran becomes mad because his life is in constant danger through no fault of his own. In the result, he spends a lot of his time in a war hospital faking injuries in order to avoid the war. This is where he meets Dr. Danica. He is the first person to explain the logic of Catch-22 to Yasaran. This logic originated from the novel when it was published in 1961 and has since been used in the English language. Wikipedia explains Catch-22 as a paradoxical situation from which an individual cannot escape because of contradictory rules. Google defines it as a dilemma or difficult circumstance from which there is no escape because of mutually conflicting or dependent conditions. If it still doesn't make sense, Urban Dictionary says it's a requirement that cannot be met until a prerequisite requirement is met. However, the prerequisite cannot be obtained until the original requirement is met. A real-world situation for this logic would be, how are you supposed to gain experience for a job application if you are constantly getting turned down for not having any experience in the first place? The first ever Catch-22 situation is in the novel when Yasaran discovers that it is possible to be discharged from the military because of insanity. Always looking for a way out, Yasaran claims that he is insane, only to find out that by claiming he is insane, that he has proved to be obviously sane, since any sane person would claim that he or she is insane in order to avoid flying bombing missions. Leading up to the climax of the book, Yasaran is troubled by the death of one of his squadron members who died while flying a mission. This is when he makes the decision that he will refuse to fly any more missions. For the climax of the novel, Yasaran is ultimately faced with the decision that will define him as a person. In doing so, he turns his back on the dehumanizing machinery of military, rejects the rule of Catch-22, and strives to gain control of his own life. If you want to know how Captain John Yasaran defeats the logic of Catch-22, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book and find out yourself.